This is your family's first and most important line of defense against Mother Nature. When she strikes, make sure you call the people that I trust, my family and friends at Exterior Home Solutions.
Exterior Home Solutions 2-minute drill. Tennessee defeats Florida in overtime, 23-17. A lot to unpack here. For the second consecutive week, Tennessee doesn't score a point in the first half. Offense looks lethargic. Nico's struggling. Offensive line struggling to protect. He's staring down receivers and throwing picks in triple coverage and missing deep shots to open receivers. In the second half, they got a little bit of juice going. And at the end of the day, the defense won this football game.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's the thing, too, at the end of the day. It's the first time Tennessee has won back-to-back games against Florida and Knoxville since 1990, 1992.
I was 7-9 in those two contests.
So listen, there's tons of things for Tennessee to work on, and they have got to get better. We're going to dive into all that. Don't forget you just beat a team that you've lost to every way under the sun during this series. So a win is a win. We were talking about before we started, this league feels more like the NFL right now than it's ever felt. I don't mean the quality of play necessarily, but anybody can beat anybody on any given day at this point. So you take it and you go back to the drawing board. And I thought it was pretty clear post-game. Josh Heupel pretty frustrated, perplexed on where they are and where they're going to go offensively moving forward.
Also pretty clear in post-game that while some people may be, on Nico, he's not willing to go there yet because – yeah, some of it's Nico, some of it's the receivers, some of it's the offensive line, some of it's the tight ends or running backs and pass protection. It's not all number 8. It's a combination and a collaboration of everybody.
Yeah, and look, he missed a couple of deep balls.
He did.
You got to hit one of those two. The interception was a bad play.
Bad.
The fumble was a bad play. He acknowledged all that post-game, that those were on him, and he's got to play better. I still think they've got to help him more. I like this 25-yard in overtime offense that they ran. They ran a little waggle out to the tight end.
Yeah.
They ran a receiver screen to Squirrel White. They ran a little pop pass or raise up, throw it past to Thornton. I think they've got to get more into that and less into we're going to throw the 18, 20-yard crosser over the middle all the time. I think they've got to help him more is what I'm saying.
I agree, and that's something we talked about this week is like it felt like they either just threw it straight sideways or way down the field instead of throwing it kind of diagonal, right? Throwing slants, throwing, some shorter stuff that's 5 to 8 yards. Right. It felt like it was either literally side to side or deep balls.
Yeah.
And you're right. They did kind of adjust in that. I thought they rolled the pocket some more tonight. They did it in the first half, but I thought they did even more in the second half. And Dylan Sampson continues just to score touchdown subs.
Yeah, he does. He continues to play well. And listen, he's tough. I know he gets frustrated the run game's not going, and then they find a little bit, they pop a little bit, they get going. But the reality of this one is Florida's on a bus ride. They're going home, kicking themselves for their inability to finish in the red zone. Hats off to Tennessee's ability defensively in the red zone to get stops, key tackles for loss. Terrific fourth down stop by Ricky Gibson III, excuse me. Just a lot of good plays defensively. Abu Carter took another step forward tonight, I thought, in the way he played.
I know Mari Thomas was fantastic.
They played well. Now, I was a little surprised at the whole 3 linebacker package that they went with as much as they did. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens with Keenan Peely because I think that's a tough one for Tennessee to handle. But give this defense credit. They found a way to get some stops to give Tennessee a chance to win. That game could have been and should have been 21-24-0 and Katie barred the door, but it was 10-0 till the offense developed a pulse.
Yeah, Keenan Peely, you don't want to speculate here, but Josh Heupel's answer and kind of like that's what a volunteer looks like. Like it was almost like he knows that there's a fear of, he was on crutches, had a sleeve around his knee. Does not look good.
No, it doesn't. And that means Jeremiah T-Lander's got to continue to go.
And Arion Carter's got to keep balling.
And Arion Carter's got to play. Jalen Smith has got to step up. I thought he had a tough night in different times tonight.
And they got to get Edwin Spellman back.
They got to get him healthy, and we'll see where they're at. But again, give Tennessee credit. I thought they played some nice games up front. They got a break when Mertz got hurt. Because Lagway's not where Mertz was in terms of being able to manage that offense. You didn't see nearly as much eye candy shifts and motions and things without Mertz on the field. They lost their best running back in Montrell Johnson, and Tennessee took advantage of it, found a way, survived, advanced. You got to go back and you got to figure out a way to develop a pulse. That opening drive, you thought, okay, here they go, right? Everything's going to script, and then bam, they shoot themselves in the foot on just a just a bad mesh. You just can't do that. And you had the holding penalties, and they just can't overcome those things right now.
They cannot. They're not the offense that they were 2 years ago, where like they could overcome any penalties, anything that people threw at them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the offense they were a year ago right
Yeah.
now. I mean, you know, you're winning games throwing for 140 yards. You know, I mean, 150 yards. They have got to get to the point where they're throwing for 250, in move the sticks and not be either feast or famine. They're very feast or famine right now.
Josh Heupel, when asked, said, don't feel like we're far off. And I don't disagree with that. I mean, you talk about you hit a couple of those deep balls. How does that change the complexion of the football game? How does it change the complexion of Nico's night, the offense in general? Maybe you're able to connect on those next week. Either way, they've got to be better. Nico has to be considerably better, and the people around him have to be better, including the coaches.
Yeah, no doubt. They've got to be better, and defense has got to continue to carry this team as much as they can. They carried him for a good bit at Arkansas. Wasn't enough at the end. I know Tim Banks disappointed. They gave up the touchdown to send it into overtime. But you know, they've just got to help this offense continue to help it along until maybe it grows and develops some more than what they are right now, because they're a struggle on offense right now.
They are. He is Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price for the Exterior Home Solutions 2-Minute Drill.